Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday morning chat. We get together every Thursday morning to talk business, and we do it in a community format where everyone can participate. And you guys are so great. Most of you have muted your lines. I love it. So I'm going to mute everyone. And then when you want to talk, just unmute. So we are going to be very interactive today. And as you guys know, well, let me first give a greeting from Gregory. He made it safely to Bangkok. It was wonderful. He had someone meeting him at the gate that escorted him through customs and then led him to the car that took him to his place. So he's all good. And he was going to be with us, but he called this morning and I think a little jet lag hit. So he's doing great. And the four amigos are there and they have a business planning session tomorrow. They're 14 hours later. So they're going to be doing a mastermind session, and amazing men and Lynette are going to be doing all that and getting ready for the meeting start 2/22/22. That's when they're going to start doing meetings, and they will make them available. They will be in Thai. So we will keep you posted as we get closer to 2/22, which is coming up. Okay, so today I got the business out of the way. Today, on our director's calls, we talk about topics for our lives and topics for our chats and topics for Monday night. And it has come to everyone's attention that March 1st is the end of the early bird special to be at the August conference in Orlando. Now, it might seem a little early to be talking about August, and we want to make sure that everybody realizes the value, how lives can change by going to a live event. So we wanted to have this be kind of an open roundtable. We have several people that want to share, but anyone who wants to share, you can raise your hand and unmute. We'll start out with a few of the planned ones, but this is for all of us, because I know that, leaders are made at events and leaders show up at events. And sometimes one person's one line that you meet on the way to the bathroom can change your life. And it has for me. So what I want to do is open things up. If you are one of those people that wants to share, please raise your hand and that'll make it easier. And those of you that are ready, you can unmute your line and we'll kind of go in order of who wants to share first. But we had several people that volunteered yesterday. And so we'll start out with Michelle, and then we'll go to Timothy and Helen, and we'll see who else wants to talk after that. So Michelle, why don't you take the lead and just share with people what's the value to you and to anyone else of showing up for a live event. Over to you.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Good morning, everyone. And I'm not on video because I'm in my bathrobe. I haven't even had a shower. But I went to the Las Vegas event, and I had been in Lifeway for less than a year. That was January of, help me, Robin, 2020?
Yes.
January of 2020.
Right before the lockdown. Yep.
Right before, a couple months before. And oh my goodness. First of all, I have to share that I have been in a few other network marketing companies, and I have been to other events. And it's just the nature of learning and teaching that we do a little compare and contrast kind of a thing. And I will share with all of you, especially those of you that may be new to network marketing, or even those that have been in other companies, that this was so different in that there was excitement. Yes, there was enthusiasm, but it wasn't this huge rah-rah fest where everybody's jumping up and down and it's like, yay, we're busting all these barriers and we're making billions of dollars. It wasn't that. That was so refreshing. Yes, there was music, and yes, there was fun, and yes, there was dancing. We had a night of dancing, which was really fun, but it wasn't this intense in your face kind of experience. And so I have to say that first. And then I loved meeting people that I've been hearing and seeing on the calls. Doctors, like I met Dr. Shauna Young, and I think that may have been the first time I met you, Robin. And it was just seeing leaders from all over the world. And as Robin said, I actually was in an elevator, and there was a senior presidential from somewhere in Europe. I can't remember. It may have been Poland, and had a wonderful conversation with him. It's a combination of business and intense joy and pleasure and fun. It was just so much fun. And LifeWave just rolled out the red carpet for us in so many ways. And I would say my favorite fun thing was the dance party that we had on Saturday night, and lots of pictures, and it was awesome. I am absolutely going to be there in Orlando in August, and I hope to see many of my team. So thank you.
That was beautiful. Before you go, Michelle,
Yes.
by attending, how did that affect your belief?
Oh, thank you, Robin. I needed a little direction. So listening to the science was a big part. I have a nursing background, so that was really exciting, hearing the science. And so belief in the product was absolutely cemented by hearing the science, and of course, many, many testimonials throughout the couple of days. And then belief in this industry by just feeling and the energy of these leaders, and thinking to myself and saying to my beautiful upline, Helen, we're going to be on that stage one day in the not too distant future. I'm going to be walking on that stage. So belief in the industry and the success and the ability to make my own way in the world. That's just kind of how I'm genetically wired. So yeah, thank you, Robin.
For that. Thank you for that. That's great. And so Timothy and Helen, you're next.
Hi, it's me, Helen. The camera's at a funny angle. Okay, so I guess I'll go off video. The camera's at a wrong angle. But I would like to say that I would ditto everything Michelle just said. And that was such a great, conference in Vegas. Deep friends, business cousins, right, Robin? We met people like Judy. And so anyways, deep bonding everywhere. But I had been involved with network marketing for quite some time and never had any success. And it finally occurred to me that maybe I should go to a convention of a company to see and meet the leaders and what, the whole thing's really about. Because the people who had sponsored me didn't know a thing, they didn't teach me a thing, and therefore they were a failure, and I was I'm a failure line too. But the failure was the failure to get educated. So then I went to this event, and then it was so inspiring. One of the things that inspired me, and I know those of you who have gone will feel the same way, is when those people who walk across the stage with their bouquets of flowers and money flowers, right, Robin? All the wonderful celebration of their accomplishments really inspired me. And I knew that day that I was definitely going to be one of them. That was my goal. And it was so sparked me. And I was all alone, by the way. I just drove out to Salt Lake City from Colorado, about a 6-hour drive, got a bed and breakfast. And then I started meeting. And when people saw me taking notes like crazy, and they're wondering, who is that? And then the leaders who discovered I was on their team, they were like right there, just embracing me, teaching me, setting up meetings, the whole bit. So that's what changed my career, because now I know what I want. I'm determined to get it. I've got all the people who can educate me right there with me. I just have to get educated and go to work. That's what I did. I made my first $6,000 monthly check in that company, and it was a great celebration. It was success. I reached my goal, and I, made it. And it was all because I went to a convention. Now, that convention was not so bad, but in comparison, like Michelle said, this one, whoa, so wonderful, and just hanging out with all the, corporate, obviously David, he was so humble, taking photos with us and, chatting with us. And, we are all so excited. So my goal has always been then on both our teams, we have the 2 legs, make sure you have people from both legs at every convention, technically at every event. And the next event is the next Zoom, right? So always having people from both legs attend, especially the convention, and you will be successful. So thank you for letting me share.
Oh, thank you, Helen. You had a lot of gems in there, and so did Michelle. There's something that you know, it's palpable. You can't quite put your finger on what happens, but something happens to our belief. And I'll just share a quick story, and then we'll have whoever owner's iPhone is, we'll have you come on next. When I had gotten excited about LifeWave, and that there was the launch of X39, the last stop on the tour in January of 2019, I wanted to go. And Gregory wasn't going to go, but unfortunately, this is kind of strange to say, his brother had recently passed away, and they were doing his memorial in Southern California, where the event, you know, not far from the event, which was in LA. And so Gregory came, and there was a group of 300 people, a company that was 14, 15 years old. And he sat in the room, and the penny dropped for him, because he was looking around. He didn't see other networkers. You know, when you play at the level he's played, you usually recognize some people, you know, and he didn't. And it was like, and he heard Melinda Connors, and he heard David, and he kind of went, oh my, we are sitting on something extraordinary. And I think a lot of you know Gregory had been very successful in the past and had six-figure monthly income for years. And he said, this could happen here too. And so the penny dropped, and, you know, it went from my business to our business. He had to undo what he was doing. He was involved in another project, so he did join me, which, as we all know, is the gift for the whole community to have Gregory on board and all the teams and tools and resources. So it changed his life. It changed our life. And events are amazing. And a lot of people say you don't need a plane ride for the way home, because you'll be soaring on your own. So whoever owner's iPhone is, please unmute and share, and then we'll have Darlene share. And I'll ask you to unmute so you know it's you. Let's see, who's owner's iPhone? Let me take a look and see if I could find a face that goes with the name. Okay, I'm going to look around for you, and until I find you, Darlene, why don't you go until we find this other, whoever this is. Okay. So
Okay.
Darlene, yep.
I loved going to the Las Vegas event. We had just gotten involved, and that was our first one to go to. And I had been involved in several other companies and gone to many, many conventions. And I was so impressed with how LifeWave did theirs. They were so giving of product and food. And I mean, I'd never been to one where they pampered us as much as LifeWave did. And it was so heartwarming to be able to speak to David in person, and he paid attention to you when he was talking to you, and being able to talk to other high leaders when we were just barely getting started. They cared about us. It just makes your belief in the company zoom to the top. And I already had a good belief in the product because I'd seen so many things happen in just the short time we'd been using it. But to be there live in Las Vegas, and then again when we were in Orlando, it just was amazing how people really care about you, especially how the company cares about you. If you have a chance to go, go.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Darlene. And this is a very, very generous company. I mean, they decided at the last minute we were going to have hors d'oeuvres on the Saturday night, and they decided to give us a full plated dinner. And, you know, they never recover the cost. You know, it's a lost leader for the company to put on an event, but it comes back big time because people's belief is so deep. And when you get to experience David personally, and he has this exquisite posture. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. And when I first met him, that's what really, really touched me. I mean, he absolutely embodies what he's sharing with all of us. And they have all these things they care for. And, back in Florida, we were wined and dined and treated like royalty. So, but there's something very special about the culture of this company that you can feel. And there's nothing like it except being there in person. So owner's iPhone, I don't know who you are. I have a Zoom user and I don't see an owner. Oh, there we go. I think it's, let me see if I can see the face. Is it Shirley? You've got, someone has their hand up and there's well, let's go to the Zoom user that's next. Your camera's not on, so I can't tell who you are, but Zoom, if you've got your hand up, unmute your mic and start talking. Someone just put their hand up. Okay. Zoom user, I don't know who you are. And owner's iPhone, I only see part of your head. So, well, while we're waiting for those guys to unmute, who else, what we're talking about for those of you that came on a little later, we're talking about the value of attending a live event, because March 1st is the deadline for the early bird special for our August convention in Orlando. And there is a link in the newsletter, and there is a link if you go to LifeWave Business Builders. They have the different links there also. So if you need to find your link to get registered, go for it. And Sybil, why don't you go next? Because you're unmuted and you're ready to go.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, good. So what I wanted to share is that I got so excited when I first got into holistic health that I jumped right into advanced training. It was crazy. People would go, "You did what?" And I wasn't at the beginning, but I jumped in at a higher level, and then I took all the beginning stuff, and I just went crazy with it. And I ended up earning a trip to Acapulco. So here's my story. At the first networking convention I attended in Acapulco in 1992, I rubbed shoulders with successful holistic practitioners, herbalists, and networkers. I was inspired by individual testimonies that we can't legally share in the United States, but we were able to watch videos over there. And then those testimonies inspired me to try new and sometimes strange things confidently with my family and my friends who became interested in the healing we were getting. And it kind of became like a community event with my other, mother friends and homeschool friends and church friends, and that I started a co-op. And so all those things, all those people, we just kind of were all in it together, learning together. And we became confident to try all these strange new things instead of running to the doctors all the time. And it gave us amazing good health and improved my quality of life and my finances. And it gave me a really good name in the community, where I was invited to speak in churches. And I was even invited to do interviews in the paper and stuff, but we declined because we just wanted to focus on our children back then. But it
so
really gave,
Sybil.
and then when I earned conventions, then I got business training. I got things I never could have done as a stay-at-home mom. And so that just totally changed my life, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, Sybil. Thank you. And you just never know what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to be there that's going to inspire you with one line. A lot of people patch 3 a day. I could do that. Or contact 3 a day. So we do have several people that have your hands up. If you have your hand up, you can unmute your line. I don't know what your name is because you're not named. And you can, I'm going to give you a tip in case you don't know this about Zoom. You can go up to where your name is and you can go to the more button and you can rename yourself. So that way we can tell who it is. So I just invite you, if you see the screen and your name doesn't show up, you can rename, or if it's another name, like there's an iPhone SAF. I don't know who that one is either, but who else wants to share? What's it like and what value has it been for you to attend a live event with a networking company? So who's next? Shannon, are you unmuted and ready to talk?
Oh, I'd be happy to share it this morning. Thank you,
That
Robin.
would be wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
I got to meet you at a live event.
I know that was so fantastic. You and Gregory, goodness gracious, and all my uplines, actually, Tim and Tim and Helen and Michelle for sure. And I tell you what, it just felt like I was right at home. Everyone was so encouraging, helpful. I brought a number of people I knew from Colorado Springs area, and they all enrolled. They were just so impressed. So that led to me jumping up to my first rank advancement, which I'm so grateful for. And speaking of live events, this isn't corporate, but I'm doing my first live event in a facility this coming Tuesday on the 22nd. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're hoping to have 15, 20, maybe 25 people. And that's where I'm going to once again introduce people to the corporate event coming up this August. And I'll let them know that you want to register now so that you can get the best price. So again, I totally believe in events. They're a game changer on every level. You feel like you're a part of something much bigger. You feel like you do have that support from corporate on down, and that helps me to invite more people in on my team and be a part of this extraordinary opportunity to make a difference in our community, this state, and the world, and soon to be Thailand.
Well, I remember meeting you, and I remember that event in Colorado Springs and all the guests you had, and they all came on board, and then people were sharing their stories, and then people were witnessing things. That older gentleman, I'll never forget that, having Dr. Walt patch him on the spot, and he wasn't mobile, and there he was walking. It was like one of those wow stories. And so you hear all kinds of things, and you can feel it. It's not just hearing it or seeing it on a Zoom. There's something visceral about it. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Shannon.
Yes, you're more than welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate that. So Cynthia, you want to unmute your line? You're next. You know how to unmute, Cynthia?
Yes, I had to find myself. I'm on a phone.
Okay,
Hi.
good. Hi.
Hi. I'm new to LifeWave, new enough to definitely have a belief and start coming on these calls.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm using X39 and I just added X49, which helped me to do a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to do recently. And now I'm suffering the consequences because I'm in the process of moving, and I was moving a lot of heavy boxes yesterday, and today I can barely move. But that's neither here nor there. I've been with other network marketing companies and at events where there was a lot of rah-rah, shish kumbah, and some science, more testimonies. What I'm hearing about this makes me very excited. So I look forward to meeting all of you in August. And I'm hoping that my immediate upline can come, but her health has been dicey and she may not want to go like 15 miles away from home, let alone to Orlando. But yes, so thank you for having me. And yeah, I've got lots of questions and I'm going to keep coming on these calls to learn. So
oh, good. Well, welcome to our Live Younger community and to LifeWave, and we're here for you. And there's lots of places to reach out and get support. So welcome, Cynthia. Glad to have you. So let's see, we had, so if you have your hand up, you can unmute your line. And I just want to read what Kira wrote, unless you want to say it directly, Kira.
Sure, I'll do that.
Oh, good. We love hearing from you.
Thank you. I'll read what I wrote, and that way I won't get diverted. I too attended that meeting in Las Vegas because I live in Henderson, and I feel the same way as Michelle, what Michelle stated about being there. It was the first time, it was my very first opportunity to listen to David. And he was talking my language when he started talking science. I am one of those that wants to know why something is going to help me or not. And this was definitely something that was helping me. And it actually started to break my anti-networking mindset. It's taken a while, but yes, I've been registered for the August convention ever since David announced it. And I'm going to be there in person. And those arrangements I've already made. So I'm going to be there in person. Yes.
Woo-hoo!
So
Thank you, Kara. That's wonderful. Yeah, there's nothing like meeting people in person.
No,
I mean,
there
this is
isn't.
a wonderful way to be together because we can and it's convenient. But, you know, getting that hug from people, you know, is such a gift. So I think Dr. Tom is next and then Jennifer Starr. You can unmute
Hey,
and share. Hi.
good afternoon. I wanted to comment on Helen's great comment about failure. It's like, you know, you get into a space, we all get very comfortable in knowing what we know. And one of the things I love about events is you get to a place, you get to listen, and you get that little tiny breakthrough in what
Hey,
you
Tom,
don't
could you
know.
speak up a little louder? Because there's some
Sure.
interference, because we really want to hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for that. And I'm on background car noise too here. When you step into that space of collective humanity, right? And we've got so much committed collective consciousness in this community, and there's access to what you don't know, right? There's a tiny little breakthrough there, like, wow, okay, failure, and it's not something to avoid. Like, one of the things I love about this business is we get the growth and development program. You guys say so brilliantly, growth and development program with the compensation plan, and we get to see where we failed in a supportive environment, right? And then we get a breakthrough. And one other thing I wanted to say about, you mentioned the one line, you know, what's that one line in that? I want to honor Harris Williams and Ann Moreau on our team call on Monday. Harris used a line that I've heard him say plenty of times, you know, but it just, I didn't get poked in the ribs enough. And he said, in the context of reaching out to people and touching base, and he said, let me ask you a favor. Let me ask you a favor. And that one line has changed my week, right? We've got big events in Thailand right now. I said, let me ask you a favor. You know, do you know anybody in Thailand? We've got a big event coming up in Sarasota next month. And so I'm going to play, I do have about 10 years of network marketing experience, and I never got to the place where they said you get breakthrough success with just having 100 people at an event in my team. And it's very doable right now. I mean, I could, if it was next month, that might even happen right now. And that's the phenomenal growth that I've seen with LifeWave, just being involved in a year plus. And so that's not a linear thing, of course. You know, start to think about 100. We can, this is far out enough that we can think, each of us can think about having 100 there. And that means having 60 at some event in May and 30 having some event in March, you know, and it's like that's what fires me up. So I'm declaring out loud I will have 100 plus in Orlando, and can't wait to dance with everybody.
Well, thank you. We heard most of what you said. I want to hear more, but you know, there's like David is going to be in Sarasota on March 12th doing an event for Connie's team. And if you have people in that area or people that want to go, you can reach out and we'll get you that information. But the person with the most people at the event wins, because people leave there and it affects your business in a big way. And it's very exciting. So thank you, Dr. Tom. And Jennifer, why don't you take the mic next?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's been wonderful to hear everybody's experiences. And what occurred to me just now is I've been in these companies before, and like some others, sort of the big hype rah hadn't it didn't do anything for me. But the one company that I did the best with, I always went to their global conventions. And one of the things I realized as I'm thinking back is I got to be with the people that were really doing the work, that were moving and shaking and had the vision and were so inspiring. And there was something on almost a somatic level that happened for me as I was embodying this path. It became real to really be intimately involved with the company and the people that were doing things in the company. When I think back about that first convention I ever went to, where I really felt this is real for me. I have another full-time job, and so it's always been sort of a sideline thing. And it occurred to me that that was the one thing that shifted my mindset, and everything happened from that point forward. So that, I look at LifeWave, I love the product, I love the company, I love my upline, and I'm thinking to myself, why don't I fully embody this and throw the ring out, step into it with some big goals, and just let the chips fall and see where it all goes. So anyway, I'm already signed up and I'm looking forward to being there in person.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be so fun because when you get to be with people in person, there's nothing like it. People that you've admired, people that, and we'll do a call as we get closer to the event of, how to maximize your experience at the event. We like to do those. And then we always like to do the highlight wrap-up calls afterward. But, you shared some wonderful things. And, this company isn't about rah-rah, like people were saying. It's deeply rooted in science and research, and there isn't rah-rah. That's not what this is about. There seems to be an inverse relationship between rah-rah and income. And I heard that years ago. There's a company that have the greatest rah-rah. People enjoy going and it's fun, but it doesn't have the substance. And when we were in, where were we? Where was that last conference? Orlando, and David pulled the curtain, and it's stuff that we don't hear any other place. He pulled the curtain back of what's going on in his lab. And I think anyone who was there kind of was gasping with awe of what he shared the future is like with LifeWave. And he and his inventions, for some of you that may not know any of this, I mean, he's looking at the most challenging situations we have on the planet, with hunger, with garbage, with energy, with clean, dirty oceans. And he has technologies for all of them that he's been proven, and he showed it to us. And I was like, this is so much bigger than patches. This is a man who's really here to make a difference on this planet. So I want to thank everyone for being here this morning and all of your contributions. And, something I neglected to say in the beginning, there was such a beautiful outpouring of love and prayers for Gregory to have a safe journey. I was so deeply touched by how much everybody cares. It was beautiful, and he did arrive safely, and he's all situated, and he sent me pictures of all of his supplements on the counter. He is, these days when you pack, there's not that much room for clothes, he took a lot of patches, he took an air filter, and a lot of supplements. So he's in good shape, and he's going to be well cared for over there in Thailand. And we'll get updates. The evening calls will probably be easier for him to be on because it's morning over there. It's 14 hours later. So he said to send his love to everyone. He's really excited, and so are we. So thank you everyone for being with us. We'll complete our call at this time because we've reached the bottom of the hour. And let's see, tomorrow is Friday. No 30 minutes of wisdom. We'll have that next week. And next week we do have a special guest who's from Singapore. And he'll be talking about uplifting service, that every interaction that both parties, the customer and the organization or whatever, have an uplifting experience, or the distributor. So I think you're in for a real treat with the #1 service guru in the world. Will be with us next week. So thanks everybody. Bye-bye.